Hello there.
Dialogue, networking inspired.
And how about DNA?
Dialogue, networking inspired.
And how about DNA?
Dialogue, networking inspired.
And how about DNA?
With Nikki. With Nikki. With Nikki.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to Empowered by DNA. Dialogue, Networking, Aspire. It is me, Nikkei. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Listen, I'm coming to you this morning from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yes, the city of brotherly love. I am here celebrating with my family. I'm at a family reunion, and I told you I'm going to take you everywhere I go. And so this month, we are celebrating women's voices, women's victories. And so we have had some amazing guests so far. We've had Lady Cassandra Sutton. We've had Dr. Carmen Rudolph. And this morning, we have another amazing woman of God. I think she's I know she's an author. She's got so much stuff going on. But before I introduce her, let me first and foremost tell you thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for showing up and showing out last weekend in our 2024 Women's Empowerment. We had an amazing time. It was an amazing journey. And I don't know about you, but I left full. I left aligned, refocused, refueled, and ready for this next portion of my journey, stepping up and stepping out. Listen, it was great. It was amazing. And truly give a holler, a shout out to Pastor Bethany Heath, Elder Angela Newsome, Pastor Charlene Keat. They all were amazing. India Shatari, you set that atmosphere on fire. Orange Grove Missionary Baptist Church. I love you. You all did an amazing job. Truly, thank you, Rachel, my baby, for bringing the praise team. Vic, Elliot, you all did an amazing job. Bishop Bradshaw, thank you so much for your support, sir, as always. Pastor Jermaine, thank you for your support. Listen, it was amazing. And so already working on next year. So get ready for that. Now, let's get into today's conversation. I've got some good discussion with Overseer Betina Moffitt. Yes, honey, I have her on today, and we're going to have a good conversation. Look, I love this sister. This is truly, truly my sister. I love her. She's an amazing person. She is so gifted in so many ways, but first and foremost, she is a woman of the Most High God. And she truly lives, I believe, and walks the walk. She has a love within her. Hello there. Like none I've ever seen before. Her ministry, Overcoming Deliverance, we partner with them sometimes. They got mercy showers. Honestly, sometimes I'll be honest, Overseer, I don't know how you do it. Like you setting up today, you already got somewhere else. I mean, I don't know how you do it. You're everywhere. I'm like, well, what the world? She up at 6 a.m. and she's doing this. And then I look, I'm like, she's everywhere. And you have a day job. Let's just talk about that. So thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you here. I really am. If there was such a thing as a fan, there are a few of you ladies that I consider my sisters, but I also think I'm fans. I'm not a stalkish fan, but I am a fan.
So you're not a groupie. I'm not like a groupie stalkish fan.
Right.
So I'm a fan. Hey, that's good.
Yeah, I won't be peeping behind no bushes.
That's a whole other level right
Yeah,
there.
that's another level. Yeah, I'm not that, but I truly am a follower. If I want to use social media talk of you, I watch you whether you realize it or not. I do glean things from you. In fact, there are a few times that I've joined some of your prayer calls, or I think it's on Facebook. You do a prayer. I
Mm-hmm.
know you've got a conference coming up soon. I'm gonna do my best to see if I can make that. I've
Yeah.
never known you not to produce the thing that God has put in you, and it's
No,
always been so amazing. Um,
thank you so
and,
much.
and you're so real, that's lacking so much today.
Yes.
Good morning, Jacqueline. It's lacking so much today. The real, the truth, the transparency, the hey, I'm going through. And I know that for you, your life has truly been a journey this year, and you've been very transparent about it. So again, thank you so much for joining. So I always like to start. I know you, but maybe
Yes.
those watching do not. What are some fun facts you can tell us about yourself?
Let me see. Fun facts is I like to say in my former life, I believe I was a singer, but I really believe I do poetry. I do poetry. I had the opportunity. I fell into poetry when Maxwell was taking poetry class. And I just started writing with him. And I've had the opportunity to do some things like underground kind of poetry places.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really one day I said, Lord, I want to release a poetry book called Seasons, but that's one fun fact about me that I think a lot of people they know, but they really don't know. I think for my family, you know when you do, when you show another branch of yourself, they're like, what?
Where'd
But
that come from?
yeah, that's one thing. That's a fun fact I think a lot of people don't know about me. But I look forward to sharing more in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. I do know you're an author though. You have a book, and can you tell me the title?
It is Raising a Boy into a Man, a mother's journey after divorce. Uh,
Yes.
that was the first book I've ever published, and it's so funny because when I started the book, COVID hadn't happened, but while I was at home with COVID for like 6 months, I completed the book, and so it finished in a time of isolation, and
Mhm.
so when you talk about being transparent, that time of isolation, allowed me to be even more transparent in the book with my relationship with my son, in that transition of our family, and that was divorce. So that's my first book. I'm currently working on the second one, but that's the first one. And it can be found at Amazon, and you can hit us up at yoursisterBetinaMoffitt.com if anybody would like a copy of that.
Awesome. Definitely get that book. That's some good information. And like I said, I've never known Overseer to put out anything that wasn't good. And so I'm sure there's definitely a story and a testimony. I need to get that book as well. I love to read. That's my place of peace is reading.
Oh,
So good morning, Jacinta. Good morning, Nikki. Got a lot of good mornings there in the chat. So we're
yeah.
gonna keep on here. So in this month of July, I wanted to celebrate women's victories and voices, because I think as women we do have a voice. I'm so grateful that in today's time our voices are being heard a little bit more um,
Right.
than they used to be, and we're proving to be the leaders that we knew we were. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that there are real men out there that are allowing us to come out of our shadows and giving us an opportunity without the envy and the jealousy. And I'm also proud of my sisters that we can celebrate each other. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is what inspires you? Um, um, Looking at your personal story, your challenges, like what inspires you to keep going? The word of God says not to become weary in our well doing.
Yes.
So that's easier said than done. So what inspires you to keep this journey? Because I said you have a lot going on. You're doing a lot of things, but what keeps you going instead of saying, hey, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know as much as good feedback you get, I'm sure that you get some, sometimes we get negative feedback.
Right. One thing, one thing that inspires me is it is several components that come together that inspire me, and one thing is having the support of my family and my sisters. I tell everybody that before there was a pastor, before there was anything with my own platform, I had ideas, and I had sisters to bounce those ideas off of, and they've always been very, very supportive of me, and actually it was my support from my blood sisters and my sisters that that allow me, and when I say blood, I mean Nikki, Nisa, Amaris, and Jacinta. Like, they were the first little group of sisterhood, and they inspired me to see this thing could go further, because I thought every woman should have that, that little squad with them, that little pep squad. And so the encouragement from my sisters inspire me. My son inspires me tremendously. um and the thing about it is, it's so important to me that a long time ago, the Lord told me that I needed to introduce my ministry to him, so he would not resent what was in him. So
Wow.
I was very cautious on how I introduced myself as Pastor Moffitt and evangelist and his mom, because I knew, because God said what's in you was also in him. And I think a lot of times our children, they resent who they are also because of how we have introduced who we are to them by way of the pulpit. And so he is an inspiration to me. He inspires me. Even when I'm feeling down on, I get my low times, and he'll say, "Mom, you did a good job. Or, I'm so proud of you." And so he is the main inspiration. And then my mother and father. I mean, my daddy birthed the work, in his older age, and he did not let that stop him. And so he let me know that age does not matter about anything. Once you say yes to God, you give him the opportunity to grow you and expand you, no matter what age bracket you're in. And so when I see my daddy, still having to make him sit down and not do anything, that inspires me, to keep on going, because I know that God is not done. The enemy will always try to make us think that we are exhausted and that we are depleted and that we have given all that we have, and that nobody's watching and nobody's listening and nobody's paying attention. But God has put, I say that the Lord will give you a little glimpse of inspiration all around you. And so those are some of my components that inspire me.
Wow, that's a lot of good stuff. And yes, yes, your I got to give a shout out to Bishop Watson and Lady Watson. You
Yes.
you are true now. Now they are living proof that there's no retirement program in Jesus.
No,
Okay.
no.
Let's just put that on out there. If
Yes,
you
none.
ever have confusion about that, I need you to go visit Bishop Watson and Lady I need you to go on over there to Overcome Deliverance and see them, okay? Because
Yeah,
they're gonna set it all together for you. They're gonna tell you there is no I have seen them with the mercy showers.
uh-huh.
I'm looking like, what is he doing?
Yeah, what is he doing?
He
And
is
out there moving and shaking, and we'd be like, "Bishop, we got people that are helping." He like, "No, I got, he still got it." But and then also this past week, it's always been my mother's vision to have a food pantry, and so this past week we launched, and she named it Restore House Food Pantry, and we were able to give out groceries. And when I tell you, she was, I had to tell her, "Mama, it started at 6:30. Although it's people out there waiting, we gotta wait," and because she was just so excited. So yeah, there's no retirement plan for them. Like, we try to send them away, they still pop in. Like, what y'all doing?
but that's good. And that reminds me of how we need to be. Like, that's a great example of how we need to function. Right. Never giving in. So that's some great stuff. I love the comment about your son. and the importance of how we introduce ourselves, our ministry, and not leave them out. Because I've watched you and your son as well, great relationship there. And so those are definitely some inspirational points. And I definitely want to go to the sister circle, okay? Whether
Yeah.
they're biological or not, I think there are some women out there for some reason that think isolation is the way to go. And it's not.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand how they make it, because I need my sister circle for many reasons, but for, if nothing else, to keep me grounded, right? Because they, your sisters, I know they tell you, okay, Betina, you tripping now. Come on.
Oh yeah, they pull me back now. They pull me back.
Is that you need them for that, but you also do need them for that celebration, that rah, that like, you go, you got it. Don't worry about it. They block all that negativity. And so those were definitely some great points. And thanks for that, Overseer Betina.
I want to go back to something you said about isolation, and how, especially women in ministry, I believe the narrative can be that we are on an island by ourselves, and that we can and to me, it goes back to that narrative of not trusting each other, and not women just not being trusting of other women. And so I think women in ministry, we have to work extra hard to build community amongst each other, because it's still a male dominated field. On Sunday mornings, most of our pulpits are covered by men. And so I think for women pastors, as we move in leadership, we have to work really hard to continue to foster that sisterhood, because if not, we will feel isolated even the more, working in ministry even the more. And then some of us, we won't feel validated until we have a quorum of men, around us. And all of those things are very much needed. But we have to make sure that we don't neglect our own community amongst women, while we're building from the seat of pastoring or leading. And just feel like one thing that validates us is how many men we have around us. Another thing that validates us very strong is how many women that we have that stand around us. And so I'm so glad you said that.
Wow, you got to make me get up, knock my computer over and everything. That is like my passion. Like I have, in my younger time, remember not really understanding the value of that sister, and celebrating that sister, and that sister celebrating you, until, to your point, we get into leadership roles, not only in the church, but for me, corporate America. For you, corporate America, it's women, it's men, right?
Right.
I'm gonna put my little political plug in.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, plug it.
Girl, we got a female, I'm claiming it, a female president coming up on the run. Yes. And every woman in this nation ought to be on that ballot checking Kamala Harris. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm going to say that, because I think that
the opportunity,
opportunity. But the concept is still out there that we as women still cannot do things. We can't lead a country. We're raising children by ourselves. We're working, keeping house, running churches, running families, running businesses, and yet we still, to your point, don't always get that rah-rah that we should. And if they don't believe it biblically, then how are you going to ignore Deborah?
Right.
Hello? How are you going to ignore Mary?
Right.
For some reason, God thought it proper to send our Christ, our King, through the birth canal of a woman.
Right.
So we were the first carriers of what? The word.
The word. That's right. The first carriers of the word.
So I love that. I love that you brought that out, because I think it's important, especially in ministry, because if you look over history and time, there were times that you're correct, that as a woman leader, we were isolated, and we were even isolated by our own gender. Other women would isolate us. Well, you don't look like I look, or you don't or if you're single and I'm married, well, I got to protect my husband, so I don't, and
Right.
instead of embracing each other and saying, look, you're my sister and I'm here
Mhm.
for you. How can I serve you? How can I help you? It doesn't matter. I really believe in, especially among African American women, I think we really do need to support one another, because I think that is the enemy's device. If he can keep
Right.
us separated, because I think that the woman and Satan have a definitely a hate relationship going on. And
Yes, they
I
do.
think that when we come together, I
Mhm.
still think it is a mighty, 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 mighty powerful thing
It
when
is.
we
It
come
really is. We have to and that's the thing, you have to be sober and vigilant, because if not, when you move, you, like, I know for me, and I can be transparent, I felt like the more I moved into the pastorate, that I did have moments that I felt competition when there was none. But I felt like small, small, when no one was making me feel these things, but it's what's put in the atmosphere. It's the narrative that women have to endure every time you start to reach for something you never seen before, or when
together.
you start to put yourself in spaces that aren't normally occupied by a woman, and so you feel these challenges. And so I would literally have to rebuke Satan, and bind him out of my mind. But that's one thing God told me to do as well when he started moving me in the pastorate, was he let me know I had to deal with my relational hurt, my
Mm.
relational trauma.
Wow.
Because as a female, we already like, and
Yeah.
people say that, and we don't look. Yes, we can be, because we got a lot of things happening here. We can birth babies, like we got a lot of things happening. So
Exactly.
the Lord let me know, in order for me to be an effective leader from the chair I was moving, there are two things had to happen. I had to be healed from my relational trauma, and I had to forgive the men in my life.
Wow.
And I was like, what, Lord? Like, because sometimes we identify who we are spiritually through our pain. And
Mhm.
sometimes we don't even know how to minister without our pain. We feel like we won't be effective if we're not in touch with our pain. But God let me know I had to heal from those things, or I would bleed on the sheet, and I would make casualties of my war instead of disciples. And
Wow.
so there's one thing, and I don't really necessarily believe that's just for gender, but I believe all leaders,
Wow.
before you start to move into leadership, you have to start to unpack those things, your relational trauma. So I had to forgive some people. I had to own some things that I've done to people. I had to really take a look at myself when nobody was in the room, and I had to come to peace, and I had to forgive. I had to deal with that person so that I could sit in this seat from a more confident place through him. And so those insecurities had to be dealt with as a female, as a wife, as a mother. I had to deal with all those insecurities. And I think sometimes as women, we're so guarded that sometimes we don't deal with those things. And then that's when you fall into the stereotype of a woman, to me, a female pastor, dogmatic, mean, don't like nobody, don't do no
Mhm.
man, mean, make
Emotional.
like, yeah. And then that goes right back into the isolation. I'm on the island by myself. I'm the only
Mhm.
one. I'm the only one doing it right. So, and that was my thing. I tell everybody, I'm so grateful that when the Lord sent Dr. Erica to the ministry, because when we first started, I didn't know how to be the hammer, because I was so afraid of being stereotyped.
Mhm.
So, and because she had more experience in leading, if anything needed some heavy lifting or anything bad needed to be talked about, I'm like, girl, you got that. I was just like, I just got the good stuff. You got that. But I realized that I had to grow into that so I could move into that grace to lead with authority, but still in grace. Not lose my femininity, not lose who I am as a woman, but still be able to move in authority. And so I had to grow into that. But it took me acknowledging my shortcoming and my failures and what I needed help in, for God to give me the help that I needed to be, where I am today. And I'm still yet growing, but I'm so excited.
Awesome. That's some good stuff. So I told you sometime I'm gonna try to end on time. But listen, we're in a good conversation. So I got one more thing. And I done put my whole little question down because we done went, but that's how God does it. We went
Yes.
into a different discussion. But real quick, good morning, Stephanie Chapman. Good morning, Adrian. She said we raised presidents, doctors, teachers, and the list goes on. Yes, we have. And
Yes.
yes. And so Jacinta said that was good right there. That was good. That's some good stuff because because you know we really literally as women, I think we have more victories than defeat. It's just that we're silent so much. And I love the fact that you said before you jump into leadership, before you walk into this thing, let's unpack some of what we got going on, because we don't want to, because we are if we're in leadership, it's automatic. Oh, they're gonna be they got issues, they're emotional, it's that time of the month, all that. Like, it ain't no time of the month, you wrong, and I'm telling you
wrong.
But if I were a man, you would take it differently. And it's so crazy because in leadership as a female, when you have to deal with men and you have to bring correction, it is so like challenging. It's like, okay, you said it, and what does that mean? But a man can come before you, and I'm gonna be honest, sometimes a white male can come before you, and everybody else will listen to them. But then when the woman comes, it's like, okay, nothing taken seriously unless we're like hollering or screaming or being that lioness that we have within us. No one hears us, but then when they hear us at that point, we're angry, we're mad, we're Diary of a Mad Black Woman, all of that. And it's
I told you so, didn't I tell you so? Yeah, right.
That's the reason women need to sit down. No, you need to hear our voices. Like, we have so much to say. And because yes, it's Leo season, I am a July baby. But lioness, I believe that we all have a lioness within us. But if you really look at the animal kingdom, the lioness technically is the one that gets the food. That is the fighter. Honestly, the lion, if you really look at him, he is always chilling. I mean, he's big and he's scary, but he's not the one that's gonna beat you down. It's the lioness that's gonna be your problem. But you don't see that. You so busy over here looking at the lion, thinking he gonna do something, and he's chilling. Exactly. She's the hunter, but she is also the fighter. He will defend if needed, but I guarantee you she gonna jump in first. And that's and I thought, wow, God, how you built that relationship.
That's what I was about to say. That's like a whole divine order of God, to set it up that way. Even in nature, in the wild, it's such a divine order of God. And I really believe that if you look at over every congregation, who makes a majority of their congregation on Sunday mornings? It's the lioness.
Exactly. Full of them, full of lioness.
Full of them. Let me tell you what.
But I do. I think that we have truly have a lot to say, and I definitely appreciate your transparency this morning. I'm loving the feedback in the chat for sure. But I love doing this. I love talking to my sisters. I love embracing them. I know you've got was it Leap Year Sisterhood?
Yes.
Did I say it right? Yes. And I love the name. I love the name. I was like,
but you know what? The name comes from sisterhood. It was one morning I was in prayer, and the Lord took me to the story of Mary and Elizabeth, and how when they came together, how the Bible talks about how John leaped in the womb, but it was that coming together, and how Mary was filled with the Holy Spirit, and how here we have two women that just collide, and when they collide, destiny happens, and not only does destiny come for feel Mary, but it confirms itself in Elizabeth with the leaping of the baby. And so that's what we do when we come together for leap. It's about us coming together to come together, and I cause your baby to leave. And if I'm not carrying my baby yet, you cause me to be filled where I'm open up to now receive my seed. That's what it's all about. And I said, Lord, I thank you because these were two women that we all can identify at different places in our lives, and you allowed them to come together, and you allowed confirmation to happen, but you also allowed Mary at that particular time to position herself where she would have been able, she was able to receive the seed that was coming in her, that was on the way. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
And I said, oh my God. So yeah, we're doing Leap Prayer Retreat 2024 in September. And it's actually the week before my birthday. And so I've always wanted to have a conference during my birthday month. And my sisters, they be like, girl, we always got to have us in church on your birthday. I'm like, yeah, we got to be at church on my birthday. But yeah, so I'm so excited about it because that's exactly what's going to happen that weekend. Like, I just believe the Lord. When the Lord told me, he gave me a number, needs to be there, the intimacy of conception. The intimacy of conception. And he said that's why a lot of miscarriages are happening in the body of Christ, is because they're getting pregnant, but the intimacy of conception is missing. And he said, so I'm bringing women together to create an atmosphere of intimacy, of so that conception can take place. And not only, because some sisters are gonna receive conception, and some sisters are gonna be confirmed what's already in them on that weekend. Yes.
Wow. Well, let me get registered, child. Let me get registered.
Yes.
Good morning, Pastor Sadie Blue. She
Yes.
said, as women, we have these types of conversations for women approaching leadership, and in leadership, it will help so many.
Yes.
You're correct when we have these conversations, for sure. And just listening to what you're doing with Leap Year Sisterhood, you're correct. If we did this thing right as sisters, we should be depositing into one another instead of withdrawing.
Right.
Well, let me put it this way: we should be depositing positivity. I think sometimes we'll deposit negative things. We feel like decreasing one sister will increase us, but that's not the case. No. To your point, there can be confirmation from one sister to another. Right. There can be deposits made. There can be good withdrawals made. Look, I'm pouring into you. You're pouring into me, and we're wishing the best for each other. So listen, even if it's, and this is the thing, and then I promise y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go. Ooh, this is so good.
It is so good, girl. Because that's the thing when two women get to talking and that brain start going, you're like, girl, no, honey.
Right. But that is the love of true sisterhood. I get this picture in my brain every time I think of sisterhood. And I had it on my background last week, but the husband man was like, no, I don't like that. It's not messing with the picture. But I love the scene. It's a Black artwork. Because I'm an artist too, by the way. Pastor Betina, I know that's why we're sisters. I love theater. But it's the depiction of women at the kitchen table. And I think about growing up, how my mom and them would be, all the women be in the kitchen and the stuff they would be talking about. And it wasn't like cackling or gossiping. They would like be talking about all this good stuff that I would be digesting. Of course, if they were talking gossiping, they put you out of the kitchen, but there would be good conversation. And you're right, before you know, it'd be like 1:00 in the morning. They still in there talking and laughing.
Right.
Having a good time. But one sister could be in there, could have come in. And that's the thing about family, whether it's spiritual, biological. You come in with a downtrodden spirit. You get around some good sisters, honey.
Let me tell you something.
You feel good about yourself, and they done wiped all that away.
All that
relationship, honey, we done fixed all of that. But that's what it really should be about. And that's what I want to see us be able to celebrate each other. Listen, as you're going in your journey, maybe my season just isn't here yet, or my time hasn't arrived, or however you want to say it. Why can I not still celebrate you in your time? And
Right.
and even if I need to be that shoulder, why can I not be that shoulder that says, "Look, step up. Don't even worry about it. I
Right.
got you." You
Right.
know, and I think that if we could do that more and more, we our voices would be heard. We would, if we could celebrate each other's victories. Like I love celebrating my sisters. I have no problem giving no other church, no other conference, no other whatever promotion or hype or marketing, because I think we're all in this together and we're all
Yes.
doing the same thing. And there's no way that one woman can reach, you know, billions of women, no matter
Right.
what we say. You know, some people, to your point, we need that intimacy. And so to
Hmm.
have the intimacy, you got to downsize that number just a bit so you
Right.
can help. Midwives are not birthing 5 babies at one time. They're dealing one woman at a time, one
One
baby
woman
at
at a
a time,
time.
one
Right.
delivery at a time. And so I believe that's what we are for each other. We're midwives. And
and
so,
and and that's the thing I love about this conversation. And you're right, you have always been so supportive, and you always been a pusher of women in ministry. And that's something that people can't really, they can't fake that. They got to be in your heart, they got to be who you are, as a person. It's something that you can't fake it until you make it.
right.
And so you've always supported the sisterhood. You've always made me feel so much love and so much support. You'll slide them a little DM and give me a little encouraging word. I be like, because so I be like, yes, Lord, thank you. But I also like the fact that you said we need times like this. So I thank you for creating a platform, for women, to have these intimate conversations,
Yes.
because we are helpers one to another. And that's the thing we have to always remember, is that the Lord told me in this season, there is no competition, there's only collaboration.
Jesus.
There is only collaboration. There is no competition. There is only collaboration. There are so many souls that are waiting on us. So we don't have time to compete. Only thing we have time to do is collaborate and see how we can reach more and more and more people. Because as the Lord begins to release blessings on everyone throughout the world, He said, in this season, I'm releasing blessings. He said, but I need you to let my people know that with every blessing that I'm releasing, it's also an announcement that I'm soon to come, because there's some things that I have to fulfill here in the earth, and not just in the earth so that men may see, but in the earth in us. There's some things in us in the earth that He has to perform before He comes back. So with every blessing and every opportunity to collaborate, it's a grand announcement, is that He's ready. He's getting us ready for a great return. And so we want to get as many people as we can, to a place where they're able to be honest with Him in a safe place. And this is what you have provided. You have provided an opportunity for every woman to come together and be honest with God in a safe place, and to be transparent with God in a safe place, so that He can do the heavy lifting. And letting us know, for once, as a woman, we don't have to do the heavy lifting. We just got to yield under His presence, and He'll do everything else. And I don't know about you, but for women, we do so much. We carry our children, we carry our husbands, we carry the church, we carry the community. But God said, when you're in my presence, and He uses people like you to create a place, an atmosphere where you let Him rule, you let Him rest, rule, and abide, for Him to do the heavy lifting, so that when we come up, we're coming up better for it. We're coming up to reach another sister that's coming up behind us. And so I'm just so excited about what God is doing in this season. And I feel the presence of God even right now. And
Yes.
I just want to encourage everyone that's listening today that God is not done with you yet, sister. Let me tell you something. God is not done with you. There is still another branch in you of ministry. There is still another business in you. There is still another prayer in you. To every intercessor that feels like your prayers are not going anywhere, God is working on the background because of what you prayed and what you ask God to do. And that's the thing. We got to trust Him, even in the process of our elevation. We got to trust Him, knowing that He is able, and whatever He put in us, it got to come out. Imagine if Elizabeth would have just been comfortable with her baby in her stomach. No,
Come
He had to come forward because He was the announcer of the promise. So I'm trying to tell you what now. Even right now, there are some Elizabeths and there are some Marys. Even right now,
Right
in
now.
look, I just got so excited because Lord, look, there are some Elizabeths that's going to help continue to announce what's coming, and then there are some Marys that's going to birth the promises of God in the earth in these last and evil days. And so, when we so let me tell you something. God said that there has been a launch against the womb of the church and the womb of women. But he said, but I am healing the womb. I am healing the womb for
Thank you.
what we're about to give birth to in this season. So I'm just so excited. And thank Lady Bradshaw, thank you so much for being obedient. Because in a season where obedience is scarce,
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
yes, in a season where obedience is not popular, thank you so
Mhm.
much for being obedient.
No, thank you. Thank you, Overseer Betina, so much. So
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Truly, truly, I love you. I say that I love you. I mean what I say, for real, for real.
Yes.
I love you, and truly, I'm back here always lifting you and your family up. I think you all are amazing family. Um, you come from two amazing people.
Yes.
You are an amazing woman by yourself, an amazing leader. I would ask you to close us out, but child, you done closed us out. You closed us out. You done opened us up. All of that. We done had benediction
I had
and
to pull back because I'm like, God, I'm trying to tell you what
oh,
He
I
has
love
in
it.
store for those that are willing to be, honest with Him. It's amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is. It
It's
is.
amazing.
And I'll say this, and we're gonna stop for real. Whoo,
Yeah.
child. I feel like we sitting on the couch, just having us a good old time at the kitchen table. That's
Right.
what women in my family, they go to the kitchen table.
That's what it
But
is at
but
our
but I,
family at the kitchen table. The men be in the living room watching the
yeah,
sports. We be in there hollering and laughing, having conversation.
something about I'm gonna have to do me a kitchen table. Look,
Girl,
see,
do it.
collaboration. See what I'm talking about?
Do it.
Collaboration, kitchen table.
At
Yes,
the kitchen
yes.
table. I promise you, I'm gonna be there with my stuff like this. Girl, what we talking about?
Eh, eh, yes, 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 yes. So
So excited.
it is exciting, and so I'm getting ready to close. I feel like the cameraman's trying to shut us down here. So we're gonna get ready to close, but I do again thank you so much for joining me this morning, this conversation. Hello there.
Dialogue can work in this fire.
Powered by DNA. Come on. Hey.
Can work in this fire.
Thank you. We still talking.
Whipping.
Okay. And we're gonna end. But I will say this, that he was like I will say that
I said it
that
might have been
I think it's
time. Look, we need somebody back there going 1, 2, we like
right. Yeah. He probably did time it.
yeah,
I do think it's important though for ladies to get together and to have conversations. And so my ask is that you continue to celebrate women, empower women. If you're the Mary, be the Mary. If you're the Martha, be the Martha. If you're the left my mind. You just said it.
Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Be the Elizabeth. Be whatever your place is in your lane. Run your race, but listen, we can run it together. Don't isolate yourself. Don't feel like you have to be isolated. Because I do believe in empowering. Empowering women. I believe that we are more than our stereotypes. I believe that we are true
Right.
leaders. We do have victories. We are jumping hurdles every day. We are pushing and pressing, and we're helping others to realize their greatness as well, be it man or woman. So again, I do really appreciate you, Overseer Betina Moffitt, Pastor Betina Moffitt, author Betina
Thank
Moffitt,
you so much.
a visionary Betina Moffitt. We all of that. You're all of that, and
Poet.
you truly are amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Poet,
you so
yes,
much.
poet Betina Moffitt.
Yeah, girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Truly,
We
we
gotta go. We
appreciate
gotta
you.
go.
Yeah, we got to go. Appreciate you. Love you. And we are closing out now. Thank you all so much for your conversation and
Love you
joining
so
us.
much,
Thank you
guys.
for
Thank y'all
being
so much.
Empowered by DNA. We love you. This is Nikki. Have a great Saturday. Talk to you next Saturday. Bye.